Hello friends, I am Dr. Nikhil Datar, gynecologist from western suburbs of Mumbai. Thank you for visiting my series Pregnancy Myths and Truths, and today we are going to talk of a very important topic, that is eclipse and its effects on pregnancy and of course the myths related to it. Whenever eclipse is coming close, we are flooded with queries from the pregnant girls and more so from their relatives about how to manage this pregnant girl during the time of eclipse. Now, there are so many myths around eclipse that you can't really count those myths. But let me enlist the common ones. Do not eat anything during the eclipse time. Do not drink even water also. Do not use washroom. Do not sleep. Do not walk. Sit at one place. No watching of TV. No watching of screens. Do not cook any food during the time of eclipse. If you have cooked food before eclipse, then throw it away. Cook fresh food during the time after the eclipse is over. Do not keep any sharp object next to you. If you have kept sharp object next to you, then your unborn fetus in your tummy will get harmed. And what will be the harm? The baby's lip will be torn, or a hair lip or a cleft lip the baby will have. Cover up everything nice and proper. Windows should be shut. There should be no fresh air coming in. Probably cover up all the windows with some black paper or something. Do not allow any sun rays or moon rays to enter inside the room. I mean, there is no end to these myths. But let me tell you, one gentleman had asked me this height of such kind of a myth. He asked me that if at all we are watching the pictures of eclipse which are seen on the TV, then through the TV, will those bad rays come inside our house and cause some kind of a bad effect on us? And that was a limit of such kinds of myths. So I tried to generally find out about what are various portals or these so-called websites are talking about it. And most of them, they said that, well, generally scientifically, though it's, no truth is involved really in that. But why do you want to take chances? It's a matter of just few hours and your elders are there. You must respect your elders' feelings. So you follow what rituals they are going to tell. Now, let me say loud and clear that on this channel, we talk purely of science and we don't talk about myths. We burst the myths and we talk of science. So the question, scientifically, what happens at the time of eclipse? Now, before I analyze that scientifically, let me make a confession. I have been in medical practice since 1996. Generally, per year, 2 lunar eclipses and 2 solar eclipses take place, about 4 eclipses. Some years, about 7 eclipses happen. Today we are recording this video in 2020, so it's almost close to about 24-25 years I have been into the medical practice, which means that I have very easily seen about 100 eclipses as a gynecologist. Now, it has been a pretty common incidence that during the time of eclipse, some pregnant woman has come and delivered. But in last 25 years, I have not found any such kind of an incidence that babies which were delivered during this time had some malformation or abnormality, or the mothers landed up with some unanticipated and unexpected complication, and all these mothers and babies are in touch with us, most of them, and we find that the babies, mothers, everybody is absolutely fine and there has not been any kind of a problem. The scientific truth about eclipse is only one, and the truth is that we know that sun emits many rays including ultraviolet rays. Generally, the intensity of the sun rays is quite high. You cannot watch the sun directly. When there is a darkness, your pupils of the eye dilate, and when there is a lot of light, the pupils constrict. Now, when you have sun in the sky and suddenly moon comes in the way, naturally what happens is that the sun gets covered. So the intensity of light goes down. Now, if you are directly watching the sun at that point of time, your pupils will dilate. That means more rays of sun will get inside your eye. Now, the moon is moving very fast again away from the sun. So naturally, every second to second basis, the intensity of the light is going to get changed. So it means that while watching the sun directly, your eyes may get exposed to a sudden increased intensity of light, and this may cause some kind of a damage to your retina or to your eye. That is why scientifically it is said that whenever you want to watch this phenomena, you should always use some kind of a barrier, some kind of a goggle type of a thing, so that you are not watching this particular phenomena of eclipse directly. And let me tell you, besides this, there is no additional scientific truth that is involved in this whole issue of eclipse. NASA had to clarify that the scientific truth is only this much and nothing more. And that's why in this link, the description, I am giving the link to the NASA's website, whereby they have clarified the details and given the scientific truth. So it's not only that what I am saying, but you can refer to the NASA's website, which I have given. Now tell me one thing. Moon is around 385,000 kilometers away from Earth. Sun is supposed to be approximately 150 million kilometers away from the Earth. And we all know, we have all studied this in science, that when there is Earth, there is Moon and there is Sun. When the Moon blocks the rays coming from Sun to the Earth, you get solar eclipse, and more or less similar such kind of a combination will lead to lunar eclipse. Now, tell me one thing. Sun, which is like millions of kilometers away, which is emitting these rays, do you think that it has some processing unit or the brain, and it gets upset with the moon which is blocking its way, and that is why it starts emitting angrily some bad rays or something? And that too, these bad rays are emitted on the Earth, and that too not only on the Earth, but these bad rays are like laser guided missiles which go like this, like this, like this, like this, across the Earth to find out some pregnant women and haunt them and attack those pregnant women and attack their unborn babies. I mean, do you think that there's any scientific logic in this whole kind of a story? It is hilarious, actually speaking, to believe such kinds of things. So in short, this definitely seems to be a myth. So then the next question comes up, is that why is any community, society, any continent, religion, etc., generally, why is it so that this particular incidence of eclipse is considered as a bad omen? And for this understanding, we need to probably go about a couple of thousand years back. About 400, 500 years ago, we came to know as a community or as human beings, after Galileo discovered it, that the moon rotates around the earth and the earth rotates around the sun. So till then, even we were not aware of that particular thing. This is a recent story of about 500 years. But human beings are in existence for a very long time, when there was no electricity, when there was no science, there was no understanding. And imagine few thousand years back, when the humanity was entirely dependent on only two sources of light, mainly the sun and little bit on the moon. What must be the situation? Suddenly, in some unpredicted manner, on some day, not very frequently, very, very occasionally, something suddenly blocks the sun, and the source of light on which the whole life is dependent suddenly vanishes or disappears. What must be the reaction of people at that point of time? It is but natural that they must be extremely scared with this kind of a phenomenon. Now, in those days, what used to happen was that all activities around, whether it is going outside, going to the forest, cooking, doing any activity, was basically supposed to be done during the daytime when there was a sun which was there. Now suddenly, if the sun is going to disappear at that point of time, it is but natural that there will be darkness. And when in darkness, if you try to do all these kinds of activities like cooking, cutting, going outside, etc., etc., then you are more likely to get yourself injured. So probably it was only because of this, various societies, various communities, various religions came up with this kind of one commonality, that this seems to be a bad omen. And so many stories which floated around it. In Hindu religion, we say that it is Rahu which engulfed the sun. In some other religion or community, they talk of wolf engulfing the sun. Somewhere it is a big frog engulfing the sun. So whoever is trying to engulf the sun, I don't have any problem. But I only want to tell you that ultimately do not believe into these kinds of myths. And more so, if you are going to be fasting for a very long period of time, if you are not going to drink water for a very long period of time, if you are not going to use washroom for a very long period of time, and that to imagine that she's a poor pregnant girl, I mean, it would be so difficult for her to manage it, and that itself would be sufficiently troublesome for her. So I think that it does not make sense in believing into any of these kinds of myths, and that's why we should believe in the science and not unnecessarily get disturbed or perturbed by these so-called myths that are floating around us. Thank you.